12. The age I was when I first became homeless. 4. The number of times I have been homeless since. 2. Is the number of weeks I had bruises and indents from handcuffs being on my wrists. I remember screaming in pain because of how tight they were and being told to shut up. 6. Is the number of services that were meant to help me but didn't. 10. Is the number of minutes a CSO spent investigating my family before telling me I have a perfect house and family to live with and dropping my case. 1. The number of services that actually helped me to be where I am today in front of you all. A number is a name I've been given ever since I was in primary school. A file number, a statistic in someone's workload, a case number. Today, I'm here to tell you about my experience receiving help as a young person. Service number 1. I was 10 when I first encountered this service. They claim to serve with honour, but where is the honour when my abuse continued? Who are they serving and protecting when they ignore family violence, even when the evidence is right in front of them? Who are they serving and protecting? The same ones that are meant to be serving and protecting are the same ones who were creating fear and resentment in my life. This service was consistently present in my life. How can a service be present in someone's life and that person still fall through the cracks? 90% of this service's workload is related to domestic and family violence, so you'd hope they'd be better at responding to it. In enters service number 2. They preach keeping kids safe, but what child could feel safe when they're met with condescending workers? What child feels safe when they're met with people that question their vulnerability and ignore their calls for help? How are they caring for kids when they leave them homeless on the streets and in unsafe places because they don't offer a safer option? Kids are left with the only option of being homeless or returning to an unsafe environment. Broken homes, abuse, drugs, violence, psychological abuse are all things a child should not put up with. And this service agrees, except when it comes to intervening and helping. A $3.62 billion service which can't help the children that need it the most. Service number 3, promised me a safe place to stay, until they found out my age. In Queensland, if you are homeless, under the age of 16, and not under the protection of child safety, you cannot get a safe place to stay, and almost have no access to financial supports. Because of this, you are forced to find a way to live by yourself. For me, I went into survival mode. This involved stealing to eat, sleeping in unsafe areas such as abandoned buildings, parks, or private property, and risking trespassing and turning to a life of crime. 15, the age I was when my life changed and I met my first youth worker from the Youth Advocacy Centre. They actually stayed, they showed up for me, they made me feel hope for the first time in a very long time. In one of the worst points in my life, dealing with addiction, having no hope, escaping domestic violence, having services that didn't stay, dealing with mental health struggles, they met me where I was with no judgment. They took me out and actually listened to me. They advocated for me, they treated me as a human. I can't help but wonder, looking back at my life so far, what if service number 1 didn't let me fall through the cracks? What if instead of being referred to as a number, I was listened to? I don't know. I know there are good people in these systems, people who went into this work for the right reasons, people who care. But also know this, the standard we walk past is the standard we accept. And for too long, the standard we accepted for kids like me has not been good enough. I can say what if over and over again, but a what if only stays a what if nobody does anything about it. I'm about to commence a Certificate 3 in Community Services as a pathway to becoming a youth worker, so I can be someone's light in a pitch black room. I'm trying to do something about it, and you are all in this room because you can too. What if today was the last day of what ifs and there became what can be dones? I want to ask you all to think about someone important in your life and imagine if they had gone through this. If you can feel that, then why can't these big services when it's actually happening right in front of them? Every child has a right to feel loved, valued and safe from a state that commits to protecting them. We don't need a $1 billion budget to make a child feel seen and secure. Sometimes it's an extra phone call, 10 more minutes, looking at a kid and actually talking to them as a person, not a checkbox. The way this system operates needs to change so that children who desperately need protection aren't ignored or sent home. I believe we can do better, and it starts with conversations like this one. The next kid on your caseload is not a number and does not deserve to be treated like one. I know because I was that kid. My name isn't a number, it's Alex.